Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is an offering of the Compliance Podcast Network. November 1, 2019, the Corruption in Soccer edition. First up, from the Moscow Times, leaked emails claim to show Russia's FIFA World Cup bribery scheme. Emails claiming to show how Russia's improved bid to host the FIFA World Cup in 2018 by bribing the world's soccer decision makers have been leaked. Russia won the rights, beating out other contenders, England, Spain, Portugal, etc., in the bidding process. Emailed dossiers of senior FIFA officials contained instructions on how to bribe them, according to screenshots seen by the publication. The dossiers offered choices of influencing them through European football governing body commercial partners or through other mechanisms. The Russian Organizing Committee allegedly sent emails to 3 Russian officials setting out how to do so. Following up on today's theme of corruption in soccer, soccer attracts the most misconduct allegations in global sports. 87% of the 240 allegations of misconduct reported to the Sports Integrity Hotline over the past 2 years highlighted a number of match-fixing, internal corruption, and sexual abuse issues. The Sports Integrity Hotline was established by the International Center for Sports Security in 2018, giving whistleblowers from every region a platform to submit integrity violations in all sports. And this week it released its first summary of reported cases. The summary shows match fixing and money laundering accounting for 35% of all reported cases across sports, with sexual abuse and doping making up 15% and international corruption 10%. So once again, soccer gets to claim we're number one, although I'm not sure they really want to for this issue. Next up, the Financial Times asks, would a company ever want to go public? With WeWork's decision to abandon its IPO, the latest example of powerful forces shaping America's capital markets, private equity funds, and companies are looking for new ways to list. Obviously, the direct listing model has become more popular based upon the model of Spotify. The number of companies listed in the past 2 decades has halved. That's really a variety of reasons of doing so. Jay Clayton, of course, claims to want to give small investors the opportunity to make money, but he's yet to really do anything to promote investors or certainly to protect investors from his role as the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So we will continue to see this new model of companies monetizing themselves and private equity cashing in on their early investments of the individual companies they've made money in. And finally, in our last story, also from the Financial Times, a wave of bank scandals has forced the EU to toughen anti-money laundering regimes. The EU is going to set a centralized supervisor with powers to intervene if banks are failing to police their clients' property. Given the plethora of money laundering scandals that have come out of the EU, including $200 billion through Danske Bank's Estonia branch and the ABLV scandal, the EU really wants to try to clamp down on the money laundering that's going on in Europe. This has been incredibly profitable, obviously, for the banks, so their self-interest has not been to follow the laws in this area. And indeed, we saw that with Danske Bank, where they deliberately didn't respond to allegations of money laundering because they were making so much money from it. So probably not a real big surprise here. We had podcast posts by Vince Walden in the Walden Pond and Allison Van Hooser in Stake, a Podcast and Leadership this week on the Compliance Podcast Network. Take a listen. They're 2 great podcasts. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.